Christine, Kevin, what a game last night.
Wild.
I still can't believe it. The Cavs, game was over. They're up by 22 with 7:40 left, and they lost in overtime to the Knicks. Teams with 20-point leads in the final 7 minutes of a playoff game had been 663-0, Christine. New York didn't get the memo. Oh, my goodness. Jalen Brunson dropping 11 straight to spark a massive comeback, going right at James Harden time and time again. Brunson 7 for 8 against Harden in the fourth quarter and overtime. The most made field goals against a single defender in the fourth quarter and overtime of a playoff game in over a decade. Brunson using 20 on-ball screens in that span, all 20 coming against Harden as the screener defender. Kenny Atkinson on Harden's defense, and the Cavs collapse. He still has like 2 timeouts too during this press conference.
No, listen, he's been one of our best defenders in these playoffs. I trust him. You know, smart, great hands. Didn't think about that. Yeah, I like to hold my timeouts. I mean, I didn't want to have 1 timeout at the end of the game, 1 or 2 point game. I try to hold them, you know.
I still can't believe it. 3-time NBA champ Danny Green here with us. Danny, quite the collapse here from the Cavs in that fourth quarter and overtime. Who deserves to be under the microscope?
Yeah, I can't believe it either, man. It was tough to watch, tough to see. I think there's a number of parties, and mainly it starts, I think, the bulk of it is probably the coaching staff, about 60% of it. But James Harden is one of them, Donovan Mitchell as well. But there was a streak there that was going on. I was waiting for them to call timeout. It just didn't happen. You know, there was a 22-1 run by the Knicks, and they didn't get a timeout till it was a 5-point game. You're up 22. You wait till it gets close to 5 to call timeout. And then the adjustments defensively, they didn't make the right adjustments. James wasn't one of the better defenders. I disagree with Kenny there. And I was giving James some grace earlier today on the show, saying he played decent defense. But to start, no, it wasn't really that good of defense. This was too easy. And they conceded the switch time and time again and let Jalen Brunson just slow cook them the whole fourth quarter. So that was on the coach, and then, of course, those 2 guys that are the leaders of the team with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell.
And then their 2 stars offensively, too, and Mitchell and Harden combining for just 3 points and 2 turnovers over the final 12:49 of that game. They lost an incredible opportunity to take a 1-0 series lead. All right, some other big news in the league, and it happened yesterday. New Mavs president Masai Ujiri firing head coach Jason Kidd, saying the franchise needs a clean start. Kidd took the Mavs to the finals in 2024, but the Luka Doncic trade reset the trajectory of the entire franchise. Danny, what kind of coach should the Mavs be looking for, especially when you have Cooper Flag to build around?
I mean, Masai is a guy that is known to take risks, so he might go a little bit riskier, but it looks like the league is going younger, especially with coaches. And if you're trying to build a timeline around Cooper Flag, you should have a coach that's able to be there with him and grow with him as well. And if you're moving in that direction, there's guys like Kyrie still there, Klay Thompson. Like, these are guys that you can use to trade and get younger or draft picks. You also have P.J. Washington and Gafford, who are not older, but I don't know if they're the same timeline as Cooper Flag. Maybe keep Lively, but this is a time to rebuild. So if you're going to look for a coach, you look for a coach that can be with this young kid, Cooper Flag, and rebuild and also grow with him at the same time.
Yeah, keep in mind, Dallas went 26-56 in Kidd's final season in charge this past season as they dealt with a ton of injuries. And it was Dallas's first season with fewer than 30 wins since 2018. Danny, thank you so much. C-Dub?
Yeah, let's head to the ice and game.
Number 4 on our starting 5 is the talk of the sports world. The Knicks overcoming a 22-point deficit in the final 8 minutes of Game 1 of the East Final and beat the Cavs in overtime. Up 22. Cleveland had a 99.9% chance to win, but Jalen Brunson scored 11 straight points going at James Harden to spark the rally. And Brunson talked about it today.
I think a lot of people, when they watch film after a loss, you learn a lot. I think you can still learn from a win as well. Obviously, you're very thankful that you got the win, but there's clearly things that we need to work on to be better and not be in the position we were in. And so it's definitely a lot you can learn, always.
We didn't execute well throughout the course of the game, and we have to do a better job of it. And we tried to clean a lot of it up today, and hopefully it'll translate to the game tomorrow because I feel like everybody we have on the floor is dynamic. Our offense has been dynamic, and we don't want to lose sight of that.
Entering last night, NBA teams were a perfect 663-0. when leading by at least 20 points over the final 7 minutes of the game. With Cleveland losing, that is now 6-63-1. The Cavs are now 28-2 this season when leading by double digits entering the fourth quarter, with both losses coming at MSG. Jamal Collier has more.
Well, Jay, Cavs coach Kenny Atkinson said, in the playoffs, you walk the line between misery and awesomeness. And fortunately, or maybe unfortunately for this Cavs team, they've had a lot of experience in this postseason responding to some miserable losses. And that's why, even though Atkinson said Jalen Brunson hit some tough shots, he reinforced his belief in James Harden, telling Harden during the team's practice and film session today, this team would have lost in the first round without you. He wanted Harden to keep being himself.
Jamal Collier, thank you much. Sports Center. The Cavs were getting comfy with a 22-point lead late, but Jalen Brunson and the Knicks didn't get the game over memo. Quick 18-1 Knicks run left Cleveland gassed and out of answers. And afterward, there was plenty of blame to go around. But how much of the Cavs' collapse was on Kenny Atkinson and the coaching? That is our take two.
The egregious part of the evening was with Coach Kenny Atkinson for a bevy of errors he made.
100%. Atkinson had a horrific, and I love Kenny Atkinson, but he had an horrific game.
The last 15 minutes of the game feel like coaching malpractice.
You have to slow momentum. You don't go 18-1 with 4 timeouts initially, and you're going to lose 2 of them in 3 minutes.
It made no sense whatsoever. You talk about holding on to timeouts. What are you talking about?
It's not all about the timeout. It's about what you're doing to keep your team from falling flat.
Coaches talk all the time about putting their players in the best position possible. He didn't do any of that.
Strus and Merrill are out of that game a lot in the last 7 minutes.
You talk about somebody stepping on a basketball court and busting your living ass. That's what happened to James Harden.
You've got to get him away from Jalen Brunson. Didn't do that.
Put Strus in there to guard him. Strus has got a little competitiveness. He's got some size.
No coach has ever trusted James Harden defensively like that, because there's no reason to do it.
He's had good moments, but nobody has ever looked at him that way.
The Knicks literally ran the same play about 9 consecutive times, and Brunson scored on 8 of them.
I don't know if James Harden's going to recover from this.
You don't recover from these kind of losses in sports, and they will not recover. That's what I would say.
NBA analyst Danny Green with me now. Danny, you heard all the takes. So how much of this Cavs collapse is from coaching or something else?
I'd say about 60 to 70% of it, but I said you can't just put the blame on one party or one person. I think the coaching staff had a lot to do with it. I think James Harden had a good amount to do with it. I think Donovan Mitchell. This was a leadership issue, and none of those guys stepped up to show some leadership with this group. And they had plenty of times to close it out, change defensive principles or philosophies, get a set run. Their offense got stagnant. I don't know if Donovan Mitchell was hurt or not. He was hobbling a little bit. He also was deferring to James in the fourth quarter and overtime where he didn't look to score. So there was an onus on a good amount of different guys. And hopefully they can bounce back and do what they did against Detroit. But that is a demoralizing type of game to lose and could dictate and change the whole series to where you may not have a chance anymore.
Indeed, for sure. Everything you just said. All right, Danny, you hang tight. I'll be right back, and I'm going to bring a friend back with us.
Under game 2 of the Western Conference
Yeah, she sounded great. In the other conference finals matchup, we saw an unreal comeback from the Knicks last night, trailing by 22 points. With under 7 minutes to go, they had a 0.1% chance of winning, but they managed to force OT and finish the game on a 41-11 run. Tony and Mike have more in our PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, what is your biggest takeaway from the Knicks' comeback last night?
God, I got to come up with one. Tony, it's going to be strange given all that happened and didn't happen and what Cleveland did to choke the game away and the Knicks and Jalen Brunson being heroic. But you've been in Madison Square Garden many more times than me and over a longer period than I have. But it's the world's most famous arena for a reason. It's the best basketball gym in the world. And it was funereal with 8 minutes to go in the game. People were trickling out. They're thinking, I gotta get some sleep. I got an early alarm in the morning to get to Wall Street or wherever they got to get. And it's deathly. There's nothing going on, but you know how it can turn in the Garden. And all of a sudden, the Knicks start the 18-1 run, and it builds and it builds and it builds into the most frantic place in the world in the moment, live. And the Cavaliers can't do anything about it. The Cavaliers were paralyzed. And it was just that transition, right, from okay, here we go again. And you know how the Knicks fans can get because you've been one of them as a kid and all your young life. They went from, oh, my God, here we go again, to this unbelievable victory. And it's all of that I will take away from being there last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, Cleveland is the road team. They're the lower seed in this. They have to win a game in Madison Square Garden to win the series.
Yes.
This was the game. This was the golden ticket that they were given, and they couldn't cash the ticket. Historically, in the last 30 years, teams that are behind in the playoffs by 22 points at some point in the fourth quarter, maybe the beginning, not halfway in, could be the beginning. Their record is 1-594, and that's why Cleveland has to win that game. I'm not, I'm not much on game ones because I usually think it's something that can be reversed because there's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Mike, I think, and I'd pick Cleveland to win this series. I think that was so devastating last night that I could honestly see there not being any time now. I could see the Knicks sweeping the series, couldn't you? I don't think it's going to happen, but I could not see that at all before last night, before halfway through the fourth quarter, and I can see that now.
Yeah, not even with 8 minutes left could you see a sweep because it was going to go the other way in game one. How about two great game ones in the conference final round? Unbelievable,
So
Tony.
far.
I was thinking, I'm sitting there thinking with 8 minutes left, I got to say how right Tony was again. He picked Cleveland in April, March 1st, and they're going to win, and I got to slurp up at him again. Oh, wait.
That's right.
Not exactly.
Yeah, no.
That's it.
No.
We're done. Back to Cleveland.
And Bristol.